have you ever just stepped back and asked the question, why am I constantly dealing with this symptom? Whether it's brain fog, irritability, headaches, migraines, stress, having a hard time sleeping, maybe you're an overthinker, you're gaining weight and you can't figure out why, or you just can't get it off. You've tried every diet, whether it's a certain supplement, maybe you've eaten a certain food, you followed a certain diet plan, you actually did this exercise that your trainer said, go do this workout, it's going to be great because all my clients are losing weight. This is great because it's all something that we all deal with, and it's something I've dealt with for my life. So I would have to look back and always step in there and ask the question, why is that person getting the result and I'm not? Well, I think a lot of us have to realize at first is we're all unique. We're all individuals, meaning our bodies are made up of a different chemistry, genetics, and just understanding this can be a little bit complicated, but at the end of the day, if you have a little bit of detail in your strategy and you have a better game plan, your roadmap to success is a lot quicker than other people because you actually are following how the body works. And a lot of times if we ask that question, why, meaning step back and assess the situation and say, what is it? What does my body not resonate with? What is it that I've tried, what not tried? Then also understanding sometimes too, there's a cross in the pathways of what maybe something interacts with something else that you're doing that is limiting your success. So a lot of times when I think about this, when I look at metabolomics and genomics, as far as your metabolic pathways, your energy systems that feed the body, then we look at your communication throughout the body because we have to look at it at a deeper level, saying what's happening deeply, meaning what's happening with our organs, our hormones, our glands, all that communication system. When thinking about the genome, your microbiome, this gets a little bit wordy, but I'll be honest, it's very simple when you just put words out there and say, what does this actually mean? It's just a communication system. And the best way to think about this is, I love to travel, so if you're a traveler or maybe you're just someone who, you go to the store or the grocery store, whatever it is, look at it from this situation. Say you're living in a small town and you're going to go to the big city and you're taking your family from the small town to the big city. You've never been there, but you want to go explore. So there's all these activities you want to do, but you're just not quite sure, not quite sure where to go as far as how the traffic's going to be at the time of day, what there is to actually do there. You've seen or you've heard these different stories or your friends been, or maybe you saw it online. Either way, you traveling from that small farm town to the big city, it's different. There's a lot more roadways, there's a lot more cars, traffic, a lot more sounds, just in general activity going around you. So it gets a little complicated. It's complex. But at the end of the day, if you actually maybe assess it from the situation of saying, you know what, why be stressed? Why am I going to go into this and just, maybe you are an explorer, but maybe you want to go do it on your own. But sometimes it's more fun to just get a travel guide. I did this actually when I went to Egypt, to Cairo. I was going there for a few days, and one of my friends recommended me get a travel guide, and I was like, you know what? I want to do this on my own. I'm independent. I like to explore, and that's part of the fun. When I go to a new place, is not knowing. It's the unknown of like going and doing certain activities. But it was the best decision ever. I got a travel guide because they were actually able to come in there and pick me up at 9 in the morning, drop me off at 4 in the afternoon. We're basically going all over the place, given exact detail of where to go. I realized I was not having to deal with the craziness and the traffic in Cairo. He was able to give me way more information that I could not have even, probably, I don't know how many years I would have spent trying to learn all this stuff before even going, and then not even knowing the language or the communication or the sites. I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at sometimes. I do know the basics, but at the end of the day, the amount of information, the detailed experience overall was so much more pleasant. I left there just amazed and realizing how important it is to have a travel guide now when I'm going to certain destinations to get the most of it. Well, this is the same thing. You come maybe from a small farm town to maybe the big city to try to understand what's going on. Resonate this with your body. There's a lot more than you probably realize. Not to say you have to be an expert, but sometimes if you have that travel guide or someone pinpointing you in the right direction, your experience is way better. Well, very similar to how the body works. When we talk about these big words, metabolomics, meaning your energy systems, it's basically saying, how do I get the carbs, fats, proteins, the foods that I eat where it needs to be in the body? Then, how do I communicate with the body, meaning the organs, the glands, the hormones, getting them all to do their thing. So then you can actually really just say, this is pretty simple once you understand it. And then when you understand this and you start to step back and sometimes look at your body, you maybe can go into more specific testing. So this is where you become a biohacker of your own and say, I'm actually learning about my body. I'm learning how my body works. So I cannot just go jump on a supplement or a food or an exercise and think it's going to work for me because my body may respond differently. And this is where the game becomes more fun because you're actually being more intentional. So you can get a genetic test and see maybe which linkages within certain, maybe mutations within a certain gene or preventing you from absorbing a certain nutrient that's leading to all your symptoms. For example, I know whenever I got mine, it is crazy to start seeing that pathway. You got red, green, red, green, red. So here's the deal: is if it starts red at the bottom, everything off the chain is messed up, from gut symptoms to all of a sudden just your mood, how you feel, your energy levels, to how you sleep, to the way your brain works. So just give you a quick kind of example. If I am not able to metabolize as far as break down certain nutrients, it doesn't matter sometimes the quality of the supplement I take or the supplement in general. And this is where you need to know your quality versus quantity type thing. But understanding like, okay, I'm going to go take this supplement or eat this food. If it's not breaking down in my body and it's not, for me being able to get to the destination needs to be to turn on that signal or turn off sometimes, then I'm going to have that result of the overthinking. I'm going to be one of those that I need to be more organized all the time and say, this got to be clean. This got to, before I can go do this other activity. So your brain is constantly just going, and it won't shut off. Or maybe someone has an addictive pattern, meaning they're just constantly addicted to some activity. They're a workaholic, or maybe they have an alcohol or a certain drug addiction. Or maybe some people are more predisposed, if you know this, to cancer. And the clearer you get with these certain mutations throughout the body, you all of a sudden put the dots together. I mean, you connect the dots and say, okay, maybe this certain supplement, maybe this certain food is good for my body and another one isn't. Meaning if you eat it, you're just actually throwing off that whole chain. And so understand this is a very powerful tool, because now you're buying back time, you're buying back the quality of your life, and it's just overall, it's more enjoyable for you because you feel better, you interact with the people around you, but also just in general, you're healthier. And so I think that's the best thing of thinking of it as like a travel guide. You're going to have, and this may take someone coming in there and helping you determine which tests are best for you, with where you're at. What have you tried? What have you not tried? And so just kind of going from a broad view and saying, okay, this is you, this is your health, this is where you're trying to go, what's the result you're looking for, and it's being more intentional and knowing that you're an individual. And so, yes, there are certain things that we can all collectively enjoy, but at the end of the day, if we're not specific to our own needs, we're going to constantly just beat ourselves up. And I used to do that too, like with at the gym. I was like, okay, I'm constantly doing this certain exercise or this certain workout. Finding out, I was like, well, I'm forcing myself to do something versus me letting the body do it for me. So once I played that game and said, hey, if I can go get the body to do that work for me, I am ahead of the game, because now we have this huge system that is more powerful than we can even imagine. And if we're trying to force something, it's not natural. If it's not natural, it doesn't work in a natural way. So when you think about this and you're really trying to simplify your life and trying to get ahead of the game when it comes to your health, how you perform, your energy, just in general how you communicate with other people, your relationships, or your work, then I think it's very specific and intentional to understand your body. And once you understand your body, you become a lot more aware. When you're more aware, you can actually go out there and do the activities and live the lifestyle that you want to live. It's just science.